Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Books Akimbo, a place to discover new books, gain insight into old ones, and connect with other readers. As always, you can connect with Books Akimbo via the Facebook page, the Instagram account, or the Twitter feed. You can have your say on the episodes, suggest titles to cover in the future, and generally talk books. Just follow the links in the description. Now, after a pretty serious couple of book selections, I thought it was time for some lighter reading. So why not a book about a living skeleton fighting criminals in a magical underworld? Now, hear me out. I'm talking about the Skulduggery Pleasant series by Irish author Derek Landy. The first 9-book series was published between 2007 and 2014, but 2 follow-up trilogies with the same setting continue to this day. The books are primarily aimed at older children and teens, but if you like stories about magic, laugh out loud dialogue, memorable characters, and sharp genre bending writing, you will love these books at any age. They're addictive reading and the perfect antidote to the COVID blues, in my opinion. Now, I remember vividly the first time I saw a Skulduggery Pleasant book. It was a dark and stormy evening, and I was stocking up at my local library. As I walked past the teen section, I saw a cover with a skeleton in a suit, wearing a fedora and throwing a fireball. I stopped. I stared, and I knew I had to pick up this book. When I learned that the skeleton was a wisecracking Irish detective who teams up with a gutsy teenage girl to solve supernatural mysteries, I was hooked. Fortunately, the Skulduggery Pleasant series is more than just a cool premise. The writing is fantastic, moving along at a cracking pace with lots of action and humor. While aimed at older children and teens, the books don't patronize them, integrating sophisticated vocabulary and allusions to popular culture. The series always has time for some self-aware jokes and isn't afraid to wink at the reader. Now, I've shown a variety of cover art here so you can see what the first 3 books might look like on the shelf. Now, time for some plot. The setting is contemporary Ireland, but with a secret subculture of mages and sorcerers. Stephanie Edgley is an ordinary teenage girl living an ordinary teenage life when her uncle's mysterious death brings Detective Skulduggery Pleasant into her life. Yes, he is a living skeleton, and yes, that is his real name. Author Derek Landy has come up with some deliciously descriptive names, making a colorful cast of villains and allies come to life. But really, the central relationship of the book is between Skulduggery and Stephanie, who soon picks up a new name to suit her adventures. Skulduggery is hard to describe. Safe to say that being a living skeleton is probably the least quirky thing about him. Mysterious, yet always joking, dangerous, yet a devoted protector. You'll just have to read it to believe. My favorite Skulduggery quote: "Doors are for people with no imagination." Now, Stephanie is brave, likable, and determined not to let adventure pass her by. The series may be named after Skulduggery, but if you're looking for a young adult novel with a compelling and multidimensional heroine, you've got a winner here. Now, the books aren't all perfect. I can feel that Stephanie's parents are sidelined a little bit too neatly so she can get on with her adventures, and the mechanics of the magic described may not satisfy everyone. The dialogue is usually brilliant, but can tend towards self-indulgence at times. However, I have been thoroughly enjoyed the series, and I have always been grateful for the compelling cover art by Tom Percival, which inspired me to pick up that very first book. I highly recommend Googling Skulduggery Pleasant Tom Percival to see samples of his work. Now, this seems like a good time to talk about sequels, and there are a lot of them. There are 9 books in the original series, and in 2017, the first book of a follow-up trilogy called Resurrection was released. There was demand for even more, so a third and final trilogy, beginning with Seasons of War, came out in 2020. So if you like this series, you're going to need to clear some serious room on your bookshelf. Like Harry Potter, the books grow up with their audience, getting darker and more complex as the series goes on. While the warm and jokey partnership between Stephanie and Skulduggery is the backbone of the series, in the later books particularly, there are scary moments of violence, supernatural horror, and torture. So I wouldn't recommend even the first book to anyone younger than 8. Now, I was a big fan when I first discovered the series, and I enjoyed the first 9 books, reveling in their climactic ending. I've dipped into Resurrection and the following trilogies, but I have to admit they just don't capture me the way the first series did. Has the writing changed, or have I? Don't get me wrong, Skulduggery is a fantastic character, but I'm thinking maybe it's time for him to rest his bones for good now. Or maybe I should just leave this series to be enjoyed by another generation. What do you think? So that's my take on Skulduggery Pleasant. But what about you? Are you a Skulduggery fan? What's your favorite book in the series? Or maybe you don't see what all the fuss is about. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Facebook or in the comments section below. Just remember to respect one another's opinions and, be pleasant. Get it? Anyway, thanks for joining me on another edition of Books Akimbo. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. Clicking the bell icon will deliver notifications of future videos right up to your YouTube homepage, so it's a great way to stay up to date. Until next time, I'm Cassie. Thanks for watching.